Hi guys, once again welcome to my tool review, turning tool review. Thank you for watching this video. On this video we're going to be looking at the varied amount of scrapers that you can get from the various manufacturers. So let's start off with this one. This is made by Crown, which, as you'll know from before, I'm not a big lover of, but this particular tool is only made by them. It's a very small box bottom scraper. At the time I was into making small boxes, and I thought, ooh, that'll be quite handy. But unfortunately, as you can see, it's not made out of the thickest steel, and bearing in mind box bottoms are usually fairly deep, what do you end up with? That's right, lots of chatter. This thing's like you might as well have made it out of spring steel. It chatters left, right and centre. It's a terrible, nasty tool. In fact, to be quite honest, I'm looking into converting it into some other type of tool. Maybe a small, round, I forgot the name for it now, believe it or not. Anyway, I'm looking into converting it. But complete waste of money. But then again, you know, it's still high-speed steel, so the redeeming feature is that I can convert it into something else. Next up. Oh, by the way, I do apologise if you keep hearing me sniffing and whatnot. I do have a bit of a blocked up nose today, so I apologise for that. This, again, Crown Tools, Sheffield, England. You'll have no doubt seen these. They're for making the tenons and spigots to fit into your chucks. Again, looked like a brilliant idea, but I don't like it at all. It tends to be very snaggy. Bear in mind you're cutting on two faces, that face and also this face. And also, if you have the tailstock up to your work, it can be quite awkward to get this in past the tailstock to form the internal dovetail. I've got another tool which I'll show you next, which does a heck of a lot better job of it. Again, not all is lost. It's decent quality high-speed steel, so I could angle grind that bit off and turn it into some other tool. In fact, I'll just show you this tool. This is the tool that I use 9 times out of 10, actually 99 times out of 10, for making my spigots and dovetails and whatnot for putting on chucks. This is it. It's made by Crown of Sheffield, England, and basically, I don't know if you can see it, the angle, I don't know if that's in focus, yeah, there you see. It's a very simple tool to make, but it has a multitude of uses. Not just for chucking for spigots and dovetails and whatnot. you can use it for all sorts. It'll even, you know, you could even use it as a V making tool. All sorts of uses. Simple to sharpen. Really is a nice tool. I've had it 10 years nearly, and I've perhaps took about 5mm, 6mm off its length. Yeah, about 1/4 of an inch. So it really is a good tool. Now what I'm thinking of is chopping the tip off this one and basically grinding the same angle onto this one, and then I've got two. If one goes dull whilst I'm in the middle of the cut or in the middle of a spigot or a dovetail, I can then grab this one and finish the job. So yeah, probably make this, which is supposed to do the job, into one of these which do the job. If you want to make one of these yourself, they are an excellent tool. They really do have a multitude of uses, but work exceedingly well at making your dovetails for your chuck, tenons and for your chuck. Brilliant little tool. I reach for it every time. Well, not every time, but nearly every time I make something on the lathe. Every time something goes into my chuck, basically the wood gets prepared using this tool. So as I say, I might make this tool into one of these. Right, next up is this one. Again, Robert Sorby, surprise surprise. Hardwood scraper, that's what its official name is. Does it work? Yes. Does it work well? Sort of. There is a better way of doing the same thing. Basically, most scrapers have to be used in a horizontal, or, you know, ideally with the handle higher than the blade, in a trailing position. Well, this one is one of the few scrapers that you actually use where the handle is lower than the cutting edge. It actually has a bevel there. I don't know if you can see that, too small or not. There's a bevel here, and then this side is a reduced handle, so it doesn't yank out all the fibres. And also you sharpen it by getting a slipstone and going across that. Sharpen it like such, all on this edge here. Now if you're really gentle, you can sharpen it on your grinder using this edge, but it only needs the slightest of touches. You're probably better off using a slipstone or a diamond hone running across that edge to sharpen it. I mainly just run a diamond hone, actually a ceramic Spyderco ceramic hone over there. Works fairly well, but not as good as the next one I'm going to show you. This is the tool that I made. It started out as a crown square-ended square-ended scraper, and then I was on one of the forums and they were talking about these particular scrapers. I don't know if you can see, there's an angle on the bottom edge, but also an handle on the top edge. There is a name for them which I cannot think of. If it comes to me whilst I'm talking, I'll tell you. Now this tool, since I've made it, works a lot better than the Robert Sorby tool. Now normally I'm a big Robert Sorby fan and not a fan of Crown, but this tool, the Crown, works better than the Robert Sorby tool. But of course Crown didn't make this tool. They made the handle, they made the steel, or fashioned the steel, but it was me that ground the actual tool. These work really well. You get a lot less tear out when you're using them, but they do go dull very quickly. You do have to keep touching them up, touching the edge up, just to get that little hook on the edge that severs the fibres. But it does work really, really well. However, it does not work as well as shear scraping. Shear scraping for me is the ultimate form of scraping. And basically, if you want to start off shear scraping, here's the tool I recommend you get. Made by Robert Sorby. They're not terrifically priced, and you can use them on small projects, you can use them on large projects. They work brilliant. You've got a teardrop shaped cutter. You can slacken that particular bolt off, move the cutter round to wherever you want, you know, so it fits into whatever shape you need. Tighten it back up and away you go. It's got a round underside, so you can position it. You can have it at a steep angle, a shallow angle. You could even use it as a normal flat scraper, but it does work best as a shear scraper. Now there is one thing, when you get one of these, you get some instructions with it. And Robert Sorby says to sharpen it by taking a slipstone and sharpening the top edge, just running it over the top edge like so. But I did that for about 3 weeks and it never cut like it did do when I first got it. So I thought, pot it, I'll sharpen it myself. So I got a slipstone and just barely run it along the edge in an upward motion. Just put that small hook on the edge that you can feel with your finger. Tried it on the wood and it cut brilliantly again. So that is just one small tip for you. Don't take any notice of what Robert Sorby says when it comes to sharpening these particular cutters. Use the bevel to sharpen them, not using a slipstone across the top. In fact, using a slipstone across the top takes that hook off, that tiny microscopic hook off, and it's the hook that does the cutting. So yeah, highly recommend these things. I would, you know, if you're new to wood turning, one of these should be on your to buy list. They're brilliant. Right, we'll call it that, and we'll carry on next video with some more scrapers and some other things as well. Right, catch you later guys. Thanks for watching. Hope to catch you next time. Bye.